What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Hologram. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been really happening with the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So today the market did rally because of good data coming out. So you had initial jobless claims plus retail sales, both very, very positive. So that automatically does mean that there's pretty much a 25 or at least a guaranteed 25 basis point cut for the upcoming September 18th meeting, but Hologram closed flat. So kind of crazy stuff. So you did have it kind of touching that low. So a new 52-week low of 28 cents was hit. 18.5 million shares being traded. 26.06 is the average. A lot of that volume was not coming from institutions, as I brought up in the past. Majority is linked to shorting as well as algorithmic trading. So when it came down to my last video on Hologram, which was a couple days back, I think on the 11th, I said, what the hell? Like, what the hell is this company doing? And then obviously, given the circumstances, I think they were 34, something like that, consecutive days below $1. I said that most likely they're going to get a delisting notice from the NASDAQ. So lo and behold, that did come. No official news. So the company hasn't actually addressed anything since February the 7th. So in my opinion, that is just a big middle finger to shareholders. But beside the point, they did submit two documents. So one was on August the 12th. One was yesterday, close of business day. So starting off, I'll talk about this one. So this ultimately did say that they got that delisting notice. As I kind of mentioned, it was going to come. So they do have 180 days to rectify the deficiency. This is where people, or I guess more so investors, need to pay attention to it very closely, because I'm sure some people are saying, hey, they have up until February 10th, 2025. We're good. We can do whatever. And worst case scenario, they can just do another reverse stock split to rectify the deficiency. So what I'm going to talk on is how most likely it will be significantly sooner than February the 10th that they need to do a reverse stock split. And that is because of their price. So right now with it at 29 and change, any stock trading for below 10 cents for 10 consecutive trading days, that is a whole different deficiency. And so when that does happen, they need to rectify that immediately. Or it's, again, a Form 25, so immediate delisting. They don't get the grace period of 180 days for that 10-cent rule. So just keep that in mind. So given the trajectory of where Hologram is going, and based on its history, why they needed to do a reverse stock split in the past, not to call out saying that it might go down another 66% roughly, but if the company doesn't put out any fucking news, why would anyone buy it? Why would any institutions buy this company with like no news whatsoever? So in my opinion, yes, in theory, they do have up until February 10th, 2025 to kind of do a reverse stock split, rectify all of this deficiency. But if they do get below that 10 cent for 10 consecutive trading days, then yeah, they're going to be immediately delisted. So that could really escalate the whole reverse stock split. And so just kind of keep that in mind at the back of your mind. I'm just not to spread any FUD. You guys know me by chance, hopefully. I don't give two craps. I'm not here to BS you, pump you up. I just say how it is, and I never want a scenario to come down the pipeline and you say, hey, you never told me about that. This is why I've been stating that this notice right here that came out was going to come. And I've been saying this time and time again. So just, I'm not here to spread FUD. So just be aware of that. Aside from that though, on August the 12th, this is where things get sketchy. So August the 12th, it looks like they did issue more convertible notes. So on August the 12th, the company entered into a convertible note purchase agreement with certain accredited investors. It looks like it's going to have amount up to 30 million at an aggregate price of up to 27.6. So in essence, this is just really messed up. So they're adding more money, and you can kind of see all of these kind of convertible products as payday loans. And so you get a lot of money up front, but you're really fucked, pardon my French on the side note, down the line. So you're really screwed down the line. I've stated this in the past. This is what the company has really been focusing on over this last little bit. So you have this prospectus right here on June the 20th. July the 10th, you'll have another prospectus. And so they're accumulating a lot of cash. Logically, and assuming there's not fraud involved, logically, this company is preparing for something big. If not, this is going to be another kind of Enron scenario where they're just bleeding people, aka retail investors, dry, because retail does own about 99% of the float. So keep in mind that all of this right here, all these notes, these accredited investors, as what they call it, they're going to be getting their money one way or another through the issuance of shares. And so this is why once they get their issuance, they will immediately sell, so they get their money. The only ones that is going to get screwed is retail. This is why a lot of people don't really like this, including myself. So in essence, yeah, they're doing another kind of purchase agreement. So they have probably in excess of roughly about 120 or 100 and something million dollars in cash and cash equivalents. So my question is there fraud involved? Are they just funneling money through one of their subsidiaries, as I brought up in the past, because they have a spider web full of subsidiaries, many of which are in China, and we already do know that sometimes some sketchy stuff does happen? Or are they planning one of the biggest acquisitions in 2024? That is the question that people need to really ask themselves. And so, like I've stated in the past, I'm not a financial advisor. Like I've stated, I really don't care if you guys buy, hold, or sell. I'm just stating the points. If I'm being honest, I would not buy this company, even though, yes, speculation can really make your mind wonder about everything that might be happening, but it might be better to actually wait until there is credible news or an agreement in hand showing that this company is doing something. Until then, you never know, right? There could be 5 more of these issuances before they're even delisted, and they might have in excess of 200 million and they don't do anything with it. They just pay themselves, funnel it through their other businesses, and that is it. So it's a very crappy scenario. I wish I had more context for you. A lot of people really and still do believe that this is a squeeze play, and when it comes to it, that's not the case. So Ortex, just for transparency, kind of tracks the known shorts. If you do believe that there is a lot of failure to delivers and just a lot of naked shorting happening, Ortex, Fintel, those platforms don't really track that. So just be aware of that. But 6.67% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be a 5.34 million shares overall being shorted. That is considerably low. And in my opinion, someone asked this on my last video, in order for a squeeze to happen, what would you kind of ideally like the short interest to be? And in my opinion, I think 20% plus. That's kind of the ideal percentage, where it's not excessive, but it's still enough that it could really prompt a squeeze. So just keep that in mind. But with all of these convertible notes, these numbers right here are very, could be wrong, because based on this, if they're issuing shares, these metrics are going to be wrong. So sometimes this is why at the same time, Hologram at one point, it did show in excess of 100% short interest. I think it showed 267%. And that did occur because of dilution happening behind the scenes, just not disclosed to the general public. So you have to take this with a grain of salt. So in theory, it might be a little bit lower than that 6.67%. So just be aware of that. But today, shorts did return 130,000 shares and utilization 55.26. So based on this information right here, I do not see Hologram being a squeeze play anymore. And based on the lack of news that's been coming out, I don't really see this being that much of a momentum play anymore. So You can kind of see right here, as I've brought up in the past, no institutions are paying attention to it, and they are tired of investing based on speculation so far in 2024, so they need something concrete in hand. If some third party was just to look at this company, it looks like they're just bleeding shareholders dry by constantly issuing all of this, like purchasing convertible notes for whatever reason. So that's kind of the caveat, that they might be working on something behind the scenes, or they might be deceiving the general public. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, it is a unique circumstance. So just kind of watch for that 10-cent mark, possibly. And if not, once it does get closer to this date, they'll have to do a shareholder meeting, get a approval for the reverse stock split to be passed, and then this is where they'll kind of enact that. So yeah, definitely it is a unique scenario that is playing out. So let me know your thoughts. If you have been buying, have you been selling? What have you been doing with Hologram? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And even though Hologram is doing sometimes what it wants, take advantage of this promo. It has been extended up until the end of August. Sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So you might as well get some free shares. Link to that is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.